guests, and participants, and they are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, management, or advertisers of the network. The show is found under LGA Broadcasting Network. UFO Talk Radio can, but does not necessarily promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and they are not intended to treat or diagnose and or claim to cure any disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. All music is purchased and owned by LGA Broadcasting.
I got the windows rolled down, got the radio up, and I'm heading out of Vegas tonight. And it's 1:30 on a 4-day run, and the desert is a welcome sight. I can see you there in that dress you wear, and it's keeping my foot on the gas. I drink a gallon of Joe just to make it back home.
Are you ready? What you are about to experience is real. Right along with us. From deep in the desert of Nevada, The Glenn Larry Show.
And I am Glenn Larry, everybody, and I do bid you all welcome to the show, everybody out there, from whatever time zones you might be in. And 73s to all the ham operators and sidebanders, especially K6RCL out there in Goleta. Let's say hello to my good friend, yeah. And I also want to say hello to the sidebanders, to the World Radio Club out there. Nice to know those folks out there. We're listening to them quite often during the daytime. And to all my affiliates and to all my dear friends, low-powered FM, AM, net, hello, Leo, and to, of course, FM 101.3, AM 1610. And we want to talk about 1610, part 15, great little station for us here in Good Springs, Nevada. Yes, what a great place. Weather's been fantastic. To my friends up in Prump, on the slow, to Rob. Hello, Rob and his wife. And to KPFF. It's a great little station in Prump. It's an FM station. They do a fantastic job. So tune in to that station when you're up there in Prump. I'm sure they'll love their station and their music, tell you for sure. And to everybody all over the world, I do bid you welcome. Yes, tonight we're going to talk about the Ouija board. Do you remember the Ouija board? Yep, numbers are always starting to come up, I see. And, well, the Ouija board is very, very dangerous. It came around in the 1800s, I believe 1886, the 1800s, and got very, very popular. And, of course, mediums were using it, and folks, charlatans were using it. And it was supposed to be the board to communicate to the dead. Especially very big in World War I when this came out. In America, unbelievable. And a guy named was Kennard, and was a merchant. And he got the idea about these boards. They're called the speaking board, the talking board. And he started manufacturing these boards, him and another guy. Richie was his name. So Kennard and Richie started manufacturing these boards, the talking board. And of course, on Halloween in around 1901, I believe it was, the article says, William Fuld became a manufacturer being a part of that whole thing back then. And sadly enough, that board's very dangerous. And if anybody around who uses that board, things can happen. He actually died in the manufacturing place where they were making these boards. And he renamed the board Ouija board. Ouija, yeah. And it's spelled weird, Ouija. And it's supposed to mean good luck. Well, it wasn't very much good luck to William. It's this beam apparently fell down from the ceiling and crushed him, hit him, and in his dying bed, they didn't want to sell this at all, and what have you. But I guess a sister-in-law, someone close to them, she was a medium. And apparently, this person that was a psychic used this board and made it very, very popular. And they carried it on through the centuries, and they just made it popular. They made money. They tried to get it patented. They had a problem with that. They couldn't get the patent. And then finally something happened. And of course, there was a company called, I think, Parker Brothers that started the manufacturing and for profit on these boards, and then was sold out or inherited by Hasbro. Took it over. and it's been around for years. People use it every day as a game. It's a parlor game. It became very popular as a parlor game back in the past, and today it seems to be a game, but it's not a game. It's very, very dangerous, as you know. In 1967, in Salem, Maine, Massachusetts, excuse me, they sold over 2 million of those boards, and that's back in 67. So you can imagine how much they've sold to this day. Well, I couldn't find a statistic on that, or data on that even, but yeah, pretty darn crazy. It's about 125 years or more old, and there you go. I mean, it's been around for eons, and you can find it in any game store. Certain places won't carry it. I know it's been outlawed in certain countries, this board, apparently. But it became very, very popular in the United States and London, and it, of course, was called the talking board, speaking board, the Ouija board, and psychics use it. A lot of Christianity folks, it's tell you right now, it's evil, and it's you can bring a lot of things into the realm, opening doors in the psychic world, spiritual world, that you can't fight, and you don't know how to close it. It is a communication board to the other side, and practitioners and professionals use it, but they know what they're doing, But these are dangerous things. Now, when you were a kid, be honest with me. I mean, we all played that Ouija board. I did with a bunch of my buddies, and gosh, and we some weird things happened. It actually started moving on its own. That freaked us out a little bit. And I've heard stories of just crazy stuff happening in houses. You've seen the TV series, and you've seen a lot of weird stuff about this board on these horror shows and scary movies and what have you. But a lot of that stuff is true. Yeah. Scientists have looked at this board, and they're saying it's the person's vibrations of their hands that move it where they want to go. Well, when it starts moving by itself, I would leave the science out of it. I think it's a little more than that. Yeah. So in your day, did anything happen to you when you used the Ouija board? What happened? Did you get good results? It's known, it's known to have the alphabet, of course, and has numbers. When you use this device, you move it around, either a plastic or a wooden, I believe it's the little shaped heart looking thing that you move, pendulum thing type of thing. And it has the numbers, it has the Latin alphabet. So it's just out there, and you spell it out, yes or no, and this type of thing. And it's supposed to answer your question. It's supposed to be able to talk to someone that's passed away, apparently. This is the main thing it was made for, apparently. But do you believe it? Do you believe it could happen? You've heard the stories. I had actually flown, my daughter was playing with that board, and I had put it up way up above. I even forgot we had it, to tell you the truth. And she found it in the closet, and her girlfriends and them got together and were playing with that board. And of course, my ex-wife has told me all about it. I actually flew out from Vegas to Santa Barbara, Goleta, and I took that board out of the house. And got rid of it somehow. I forget. I've heard of people trying to burn the board. It doesn't burn. Had people say that, God, they threw it away and it ended up back in the house. This just has happened, and pretty dangerous. I think that whenever it comes to that board is it's evil. I mean, why would you want to talk to someone on the other side that they're going to give you something you don't know? Or, I guess it depends what type of questions you're going to ask the board or whoever. How do you know that's the right person? That's the key too. And you're getting the messages, and I don't know. What do you think about it? And I'm going to take your calls here in about almost 20 minutes, and hopefully the lines will be open, and see what we got here. Yeah, that was good. So 1114 is open so far, and you may get hold through 1113. But you on the website, you can see on the Facebook site 702-874-1113 and 1114, and I'll have, of course, Ross tell you all about it when we do the bit there for the spot. But again, I want to thank some folks out there. Our numbers are climbing a little bit over here, I can see, and I got Montana. It looks like Helena. We have Sioux Falls. I've got some New York hits and some Florida hits, by the way. Want to say hello to Dee and Ken out there in in beautiful Florida. Of course, the chief is back home in PA, and Randy in PA, Ed and Jonathan in Texas, Lou in Milwaukee, Robin Prump. I think I said something about him earlier. Great, good people. Craig and Christy and Heidi. I want to say hello to you guys too, and Chris and Val and everybody out there. We do this on our show because you guys support us. We do thank you guys for that, especially Dee and Ken, what they do for us. Great, great people. So here we are. And my computer wants to update. We don't want that happening, but it does its own thing. So I'm going to move my little mouse over here and tell it cancel. Yeah, you ever have that happen to you? You're in the middle of something and all of a sudden it wants to update. Well, we just said no, we don't want that. Phones have always been a problem here for some reason lately. And I have been told that they're not going to do anything for the phones. So we're looking for a new method to get rid of the phones and get new numbers and all that. And we will. Just takes a little time and we can do that. So I'll just give it time how it works. Had a great week, got a lot done. I got to babysit a little dog. Yeah. And this dog is the sweetest little dog. And my God, it's an issue or something like that. And cutest little eyes. And would look up at you and tell you what she wanted, and those little eyes, and just melt your heart, How many folks have pets? Well, I have a cat. You all know about that. Cat, baby kitty. Anyway, so I got to take care of this dog for several days, and it was a lot of fun, and got a lot done. Yeah. In between, I had my buddy Randy, as you saw on Facebook. We went all over the place in Las Vegas, and we stopped at the cigar factory, Las Vegas Cigar Factory. And I've been there before. Great place. A lot of great people come in there. Famous people too. But we had cigars and sat back. Very mild, very nice atmosphere. Good people, good prices. I had a blast, and I want to say a little bit. Everybody down there at the Las Vegas Cigar Factory. Especially, I want to thank Woody for turning us on to that whole thing. Yeah, I'll tell you for sure. Also, want to say hello to Tim and Elko. He's listening, I see right now. And of course, Woody, he's hoping he heals up and things get better for him. He had little things going on with his hip and what have you there. But Neil and Barbara in London, thank you kindly. You're on. Thank you very much. Numbers are going up. And if you want to email me, you can get a hold of me at Glenn Leary. That's GLENN LERY 51 at gmail.com. Yeah. And I'll make sure that we get back to you. We might even send you something if you give us your address to send you maybe something like a coffee cup or maybe a pin, whatever. Of course, we're always trying to raise some money for the station, keep the lights on, and there have been some really nice people doing that. We do thank you very, very much. What do you do on Halloween? Oh, that's the night to get out and do your thing, huh? Well, I know that the Pioneer up here is going to have their Halloween party. Yeah. And I guess the theme is the 70s. 70s, from 12 to 4 live music. And I guess that they're going to have a bunch of bands up there and contest at 9 o'clock. Spooky food, spooky drinks, spooky everything. And drink specials will be a lot of fun. I just love the place. That's where I go to hang out. Old Man Liver. Oh my gosh. And it's an old man whiskey too. Old Man Liver whiskey. It's pretty good. 1913, they was built. The Pioneer Saloon's quite a great place to go look and see if you're on a tour. Just, take a look around and talk to the people. Good. You'll have a blast. I have a blast. They got spirits down there, ghosts themselves. The place is haunted. And, of course, I tell you all the time, there's spirits in that glass, too. Trust me on that. I happen to know that for sure. But anyway, I do want to thank everybody out there that has supported our beautiful station. And it has been a lot of work. Oh, yes. But with work, you get... You have a lot of fun with shows, and we got more shows coming up. Now tonight to recap, we're talking about the Ouija board. And like I told you, folk, it's been around since the 1800s, and it became very, very, very popular through the years, the 20s, and people were in the psychic movement was really going, and ghost, and it still is. And it's big now, still. The Ouija board, it was called the talking, speaking board from the other side, loved ones would want to get a hold of their dead loved ones and ask questions. Where are you? Are you in heaven? Where or whatever? And this board was supposed to give you answers, yes or no, or spell out a name or spell something out that you would recognize. Now, a lot of these folks, some psychics out there that were, quote, phony, but would just loop you in because of this board, because they were supposed to be the one that really knew how to work the board. There were a lot of weird things going on, like the magnets, by the way, on the bottom of that little heart pendulum thing, when they move, everybody puts their hands on this board, 3 or 4 people, and you would move it, it would move, but someone would have either under a table or something, or have a magnet to move that thing. Well, they were caught, of course. So I guess they had to find another way, like even waxing the board, where it would slide with just a little more force from someone. There's all sorts of tricks, but I have seen so many different Ouija boards. I'm going to put this board up here. This is an old, I believe, old version of this board. You can see how old it looks, and you see it up there. It has the A, B, C, D. That's the alphabet there and the numbers. Goodbye when it drops you out, gets rid of you. Goodbye, whatever. He's done or she's done or the spirit's done. Yeah, yes and no. And then, of course, you've seen this. This is probably one you guys probably have. If you don't have the old looking one, you probably got this one here. This is the most common looking one, and that's the one we had back in the day. And these are made. I don't know if Milton Bradley does it too, but I know for sure that Hasbro picked it up and have been selling it for years. But yeah, and there's some other weird ones I've seen on TV. I have not got these up. But you can look on the internet and check them out. The history of the Ouija board. Oh, boy. Yeah. Now, if you were young back in the day, or maybe you still do, hopefully not, but communicate with the other side. Ooh, yeah. And are you asking the board something? What questions have you asked the board? 5 more minutes. I think I'll take callers in 5 more minutes. And I want to hear some stories about you and the Ouija board, some experiences, and hope that you can get through 874-1113 or 1114, either one. Get through and tell us your story, because it's going to be important to hear that story. I'll tell you for sure. Ouija board, the Ouija board. It's Ouija. Kind of weird. You would think that came from some other country name or whatever. I don't know. Apparently, it came from some lady Lockett, and she had mentioned it to this guy, and he thought he'd decide to rename the board, and they did, and that's how they got it, I guess. But there's been a lot of different stories about that board and how it became to be, but there's a bunch of articles about it too. And there's some articles about some weird, scary stuff. Now, when I was involved with the board, we saw a lot of things, and things happened around us and to us. I don't know if this entity came through the board and wanted to follow us kids around or do different weird things, but bad things would happen. So that's not a good thing. Yeah. And people have been, possessed from certain things like this. They've gone into homes, and just totally terrified the family. And it's demonic, and it's evil. And nothing good can come out of this. This is not a toy. This is not a game. It was considered a parlor game back in the day. Well, I'm not sure if you've heard some of the stories from their past when it first came about, the spirit talking board. But it's become a way of these bad things come through and hurt you. It's not a game. And so, if you don't know what you're doing, don't get involved with it. I wouldn't even have it in the house. I'd bury it somewhere in some other state or county or what have you. But no, you don't want to mess with that. But I'm going to go ahead and open some lines right now. What the heck?
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Now, here again, Glenn Larry.
We can give this other number out also.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, dial 1-702-874-1113. That's 702-874-1113. Once again, here's Glenn Larry.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ross. What a great guy. Very popular, very famous voiceover guy. Yeah, great man too. He's in a little radio station up in Reno. Does very well up there. Has his own show, morning show. Yeah, I got him on my book here also. But yeah. So here we are talking about the Ouija board, and like I say, I'm gonna put that up here again for you to look at this. Now, this is probably the one that you've seen mostly around. There's that little pendulum thing, that heart thing, and in the middle of that is I don't know, a screw, but a pin. Apparently, you're supposed to get that right on the numbers, or right on the letters, and yes and the no, and it's supposed to tell you all this stuff. And it's got quite of an introduction, of how the board's supposed to work and how you're supposed to conduct yourself professionally when you talk to these spirits. Yeah, it has all that for you. It's So yeah, what else do you want to know? Yeah. So if you have an experience or something's happened with you with that Ouija board, I want to know about it. I want to hear about it. I really do. We'll go to a little commercial. We'll be back after this.
There's no typical meth user. I was from an upper middle class family. Meth is terribly addictive. My first time using it, I was hooked. There was no turning back. I lost my job and I was homeless. I never thought I'd see my family again. I have a great fear of meth because it took so much of me. I mean, it took everything. Meth took over my soul.
Visit our website at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
Violence, theft, drugs, graffiti. It's all part of joining a gang. In times like these, we need to protect our children and our community from gangs. Gangs often prey on unsupervised teens with low self-esteem, who perform poorly in school, who seek a sense of belonging, or are simply bored. Joining a gang often involves violent hazing rituals. Once in a gang, members can become alienated from their families, school, and friends. Drugs, guns, and malicious activity are common elements in gangs. Trying to leave a gang can be a difficult and dangerous process. The best way to get out of a gang is never to join one. Protect kids from being recruited by a gang. Know who they're hanging out with. Involve kids in after-school activities and provide positive role models. Help reduce gang activities in your community by working with local law enforcement and school systems. Don't let a kid you know get involved with gangs. Visit ncpc.org to learn more or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Now, back with Glenn Larry on UFO Talk Radio, deep in the desert of Nevada.
And of course, tonight we're going to be talking about the Ouija board. Oh my goodness, yeah. And it's here. And how does it affect you? And what happened to you? What did you ask it when you were? What happened to your experience with this board? Well, a lady had emailed me, and she said she's from Seattle, Washington. They got involved with this as a party of adults. And I guess they had several drinks, having a good time, and asking stupid questions, what have you. And the lights, of course, flickered. And things were going on in the house. And they got, they kind of laughed about it, until a window had opened up and wind had came on. It was like a movie, and they're hearing noises in the house, certain sections of the house that nobody's there. There you go. They opened the door. They opened something. Something happened to see that happen. And this is what the board looks like today. And you might see this. If you do, don't buy it. I mean, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't even spend any money doing it for you guys. I would just, I'd go to Battleship or something. That's what I would do. You betcha. And this is the old-fashioned one. There's many different types out there that you can see, and and it has directions how to use it even. How about that? Oh boy. Halloween is when it came out back in 1901, apparently. That made this board famous as a parlor game. Yeah. And of course it was on the Washington, I believe it was called the Saturday Night Evening Post, yeah, in 1920. And the May 1st, that was on their main front page. As you picked it up in the stands, there it was. And I got some other data on this thing too. It's kind of crazy. A lot of psychic camps, spiritualist camps, they called it back in the day, back in the 20s. In the 1890s, all through that time period, moving to the 20s, in Ohio, I guess it was very popular. Back to spiritualists, A lady named Helen Peters Noworthy actually made it pretty famous with all the psychics. She was the one that kind of kicked that off for everybody. Scientist investigations say this might draw a lot of weird stuff in the mind that happened that you may create in the mind when you use this board. So a lot of it is maybe hokey pokey, and a lot of it might be real. But I don't want to find out anymore. I don't want to, I mean, these people were adults in Seattle, and things were happening to them at that time. That's kind of unusual. Yeah. You can see articles about this on the website. Look them up, and before you decide to play with that board on Halloween. Seems to be the one night everybody seems to want to get involved with that. Houdini was quite an interesting man. He really went out and how you say that found a lot of fraud in the psychic world, and pretty clever man. And he exposed a lot of these con folks that were using the Ouija board back then, even then. Want to give a shout out to, of course, the Station 23 out there in Avondale. Yeah, there's fire crew out there doing a great job. And the chief out there, Chief Hall. And to our Station 78, 87, and 77 here in Clark County. I want to say hello to you guys. To everybody, for first responders, from the doctors, nurses, and emergency staff, we do thank you, and you do a great job. You're not forgotten. No, you're not. Of course, the Trade Center, that 9/11 thing. Some things happened. That anniversary come around again. There's some other things coming up this year. Pretty crazy stuff. First UFO I think was seen in Seattle. I'm watching this news on the UFO. What's going on now? There's not much happening. Disclosure. We're at kind of a stop still right now, and I want to see some stuff happen that I want to say this. I want to see the land, really do. My buddy Ken over there in Pennsylvania or Florida, has seen and knows how weird it is. In fact, he sent me. I don't know if you saw last week's show, but we talked about probes and. Maybe you had something put in your head or your nose or your back or your foot or your leg, and you never know. So we got a caller. Let's see who we have on there. We'll take this one. This is Glenn Larry. How you doing? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, this is Randy. I'm calling from Henderson, Nevada.
Hey, Randy. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, pretty good. I like the show tonight about your Ouija boards.
Great. Yeah. Have you ever had one yourself?
Oh yeah. I moved out here from Oklahoma.
Okay.
In
all right.
94. So I went to high school out there, and
right.
We played with Ouija boards all the time. It was our thing. We did that.
You did.
And we sometimes it'd work and sometimes they wouldn't. But we got a lot of me and my friends, we used to do it. You'd get together on at night, sleepovers and whatnot, and we did it all the time. There's a few that stand out in my mind.
Okay.
And there was a time when we did do the Ouija board,
right?
And we contacted somebody, and it felt,
mm-hmm.
Sometimes you do it and it goes slow. You
mm-hmm.
see these movies of it moving all fast,
mm-hmm.
and jumping all over the place, and I've never experienced that. Normally, if it goes fast and somebody's messing with you, and
right.
they're moving it, but when it's real, if it's going slow. I mean, that's my true tale. We were talking to somebody. He said his name was, he spelled it Joe, J-O.
Yeah. Huh.
And at the time, my girlfriend, we were doing it, and she asked if Joe was, a bad evil or a bad spirit, because we always try to. I don't really care, but
right.
She was freaked out about it, and she. Asked if it was a bad spirit, and then Joe responded, no, he wasn't a bad spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it spelled him, H-I-M. And we asked, what are you talking about? You know, what does that mean? Then he spelled out, he's coming.
Who's coming?
You know, and then it spelled, so we were a little, you know, freaked out a little bit. My girlfriend was freaked out, but I you know, me, I don't care. I guess, you know, I want to see what's going on. And we, you know, she stopped for a second, and then I said, "Come on," you know, it was Beth. I said, "Come on, Beth, put your fingers back. Let's see what's going on." And then it spelled out, after he's coming, it spelled out Z-O.
Z-O.
I don't. We still don't understand it. Z-O, over and over again. Z-O.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't
so.
know what that means. What that meant. The next day, in the morning, I told her, let's, you know, it's during the day. Let's see what we can do. You know,
right.
And we got back on it, and a lady, someone who said it was Mary, that she happened to say that she was Joe's wife. Mary, Joe's wife.
Oh, interesting.
You know, and then I asked Mary, "Is Joe a bad spirit?" And she said yes.
Whoa.
So we thought that was crazy.
Whoa. Yeah, very crazy.
But we used to take it to the graveyard.
You took it to the graveyards. Now that's getting pretty.
Not with my girlfriend. She freaked out about
oh
that.
my!
You know,
I wouldn't even go with you. I mean, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't.
Well, you know, we're teenagers, and
of course,
you know, just messing around, and we'd take it out to the graveyard, and you know, you try to you do it over a grave, you know.
That is very, very scary. I'll tell you,
it's
very,
spooky.
very scary.
It's spooky.
Yeah.
There was one occasion, you know, and I can't remember the name out there at the graveyard, but it had a hard time moving. So we noticed that the point, it would go to yes or no, and it would only kind of turn to the yes or no, like it had a problem moving.
Yeah.
So we could only ask it, you know, yes or no questions. And we asked if this was your grave, and it was. It said it was. And then, you know, we said, you know, are you still here? It said it was here. And my dog was with us. And my dog was scared to death.
Well, did it give a name? Was it the name of the gravestone that came through, or?
Well, it came through. I can't remember the name. Larry, to be honest, I can't remember the name of the person on the stone. But we asked if this was the person buried here, and it said yes. And my dog was with me, and my dog was just whining.
Gosh.
You know, whimpering and whining, like, you know, and
scared.
It's a big dog. It's a Rottweiler, you know. So this Rottweiler, you know, he was a you know, he was a badass dog, man. He was a big boy, and nobody messed with him.
Unbelievable.
But we went out there, and he was whimpering.
Yeah.
And he wanted out of there.
Knows evil. Yeah. I don't think that it's a game whatsoever. I think it's a communication device that should be controlled by a practitioner, someone knows what they're doing. Whatever happened to that board? Did you use it again? I mean, whatever type of stories do you have for us?
Remember, you know, you got to remember, this is a while back.
Okay.
This is probably, you know, damn near 30 years ago. You know, when we were, you know, young hooligans,
right,
messing around. And now, you know, I got a wife and kids.
Yeah, you don't want near your house.
I don't mess with it anymore.
No.
And I really don't want my kids to do it too.
No.
I guess it probably isn't. We were just stupid, you know.
Well, yeah.
But
we're all young.
You know, I don't think it's a good idea.
I can't get over
because I've seen some of the things that it can do, and my girlfriend at the time, she had did it at the gym at our school with her girlfriend, and they got a. This is what she told. I wasn't there. She told me, and she said that they got a hold of a spirit, and it kept saying thirst, like they're thirsty, and they're hot. It kept saying it's like hot and thirsty, and and burnt, this kind of thing.
Wow.
And come to find out that we found out from the athletic, the guy who ran the athletic department, that wing of the building, back in the 50s, it burnt down and somebody died in there.
Oh God. Oh my goodness.
So it's real.
Yeah, it's working apparently.
No, don't get me wrong. Your listeners might go, "Oh, I'll get a Ouija board and it'll work." It don't work all the time.
Right.
It don't work all the time, and you got to be in a place where maybe there's spirits. You live in a brand new house and all this. It may not work. You take it to a graveyard or take it to an old house where there's been maybe a haunting or a death around there or something like that. And you got to keep trying, doing it. And me personally, I think that the Ouija board, the more you use it, the better it gets.
Yeah, you're open to it more.
It kind of like,
you warmed it up.
It kind of sucks your energy, what I mean? Or get kind of like a baseball glove. You get a brand new baseball glove and it's kind of hard. And the more you use it, and it gets softer and softer and easier to catch.
Right.
And that was my philosophy about it.
Interesting.
But yeah, we used to use them a lot in Oklahoma. That everybody did. I mean, we used to do it out at bonfires. We and sometimes you get lucky, and
I don't want that
I
luck.
just want to share it with you because I got some experience with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that luck. And here these guys in Seattle. This email I had gotten, a little story short, and things that happened, and they're grown adults and go to drinking and having a great time, and let's do the Ouija board. Oh yeah, that's kind of cool, but I know what it's all about, and I know it's very dangerous, and that's why I wouldn't have one in my home or my house at all, because you're opening things that you're opening some weird stuff going on. Now these days they have like these voice boxes, these haunted boxes, and these meters and all sorts of stuff to see if there's a spirit there. And now this voice Frank box is called, I guess. Apparently this box will pick up a frequency. Yes, no, carry over here, but it never has a complete sentence. I'm over here sitting at my stone or whatever, it's little bits and parts of radio AM frequency waves. And they're supposed to come through. They don't give a full, sentences for some reason. But I don't know if I believe that or not. But you could have a receiver somewhere in the room and say something, and it would come with that little box, little transmitter. So I don't believe in that. I don't buy it. But at that time, I guess that the Ouija board was the big thing, communication board, speaking board to the other side.
Yeah, this is Glenn. This was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it was real popular back then. And heck, all the kids, teenagers used it. Anyway, Glenn, it was a good show. I just wanted to call in because I listened to your show quite a bit, but sometimes I don't have anything to contribute, but I listen.
No, it's fine.
But this particular one, I did have something because I do have some experience with it, and I just wanted to share that with you and your audience.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm going to go ahead and bid you farewell, and you have a good night there, Glenn.
Thank you kindly. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, see, that gentleman experienced some weird stuff. What about you? I'm going to give this number out again. Hopefully it'll work. Let's see. I'm going to give you this one first. Go ahead, Ross.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Now, here again, Glenn Larry.
Here's that second number.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, dial 1-702-874-1113. That's 874-1113. Once again, here's Glenn Larry.
And I am back, tell you for sure. Ouija board, the Ouija board. Yeah. Are we going to play that on Halloween? Not me, I tell you for sure. It's still out there. They still sell it. It's not a game. It's a communication device to communicate to the other side. And I guess to your loved ones or whoever you want to talk to. Like this gentleman said, does not work all the time. But it's the real deal. And that's pretty scary to me, tell you for sure. But taking it to a graveyard, that's pushing that envelope, man. I'll tell you. Who comes out and comes through that board, you can't see them. They'll be walking around. You're never getting back through I don't know how it works. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to be working it. No way. No way. No way. No way. So, have you had an experience? What happened to you guys when this happened to you? Do you believe in this Ouija board, this speaking device from the other side, the speaking board, as they called it? It came out in the 1800s, and it got more popular. In the 1920s, really big. Spiritualists were using it everywhere. Folks were buying it, using it for like a parlor game. It's not a game, as I've told you already. In 1967, it became so popular. They were made over in Salem, Massachusetts, apparently. He sold 2 million of them. Now, I don't know what the numbers are today, but they probably, I don't know if that's high, but are people really into that anymore? I mean, do they have, sleepovers and they all want to play this board? And, I don't think so. I think we've moved on from that type of era, hopefully. These psychic investigators now, these folks that communicate with the other side, Ghost Adventures and all these folks have these devices now that they can talk to the other side and communicate. And they get some pretty crazy stuff. And some really crazy stuff happens when they do it. Now, I know that they come up here into Good Springs, Nevada, and they look around and they find things, they hear things. And I know that the Pioneer Saloon, I talk about that place all the time. Well, it's my little neighborhood bar. What's wrong with that? And, I have good food down there and I eat and have a few and talk with people. Or maybe I'm talking to spirits too. I don't know. But the man who owns the place, a great person, Stephen, and Old Man Liver. You got to meet this guy. Unbelievable. Yeah, and a great whiskey too. I'll tell you, Old Man Liver whiskey. I had some of that. Was good. And I had my buddy, I think I told you earlier, we had my buddy Randy from Penn, PA, and we went to the cigar factory in Las Vegas Cigar Factory. And nice cigars. He does them all himself, rolls them himself. And it's a little factory there he has. So he does very well that too. So saying hello to everybody down there having a cigar. Boy, the characters that come in there from stars and celebrities, you name it, get these cigars because it's so popular and they're very, very, very good. They got mild ones, strong ones, big ones, tall ones, small ones. Yeah, they got it all. And they'll tell you all about it. Now, if you go to YouTube and look up Las Vegas Cigar Company, a factory, look that up. And you'll see the gentleman telling you about how they make cigars, what the best flavor is, what to look for when you smoke a cigar, how to smoke a cigar. For God, I don't inhale. No way. Anyway, back to the Ouija. Let's see what we have calling. You're on the air live. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, Glenn.
How you doing?
Hi, this is Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. How are you doing? Goodness gracious.
Well, I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
Boy, I haven't heard from you for quite a while.
It's been a little while. Yes, it has.
Yeah.
And I'm tuned into your show tonight.
Well, great.
And, the whole Ouija board business.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a story about that. Now, first of all, I do want to say that I do believe the Ouija board is there is some, demonic or
yes, I do. I believe it's evil.
Evil or something, with the devil.
Right. Yes, I believe that.
So that is a little strange, Glenn.
That it is very, very
It is
strange.
a strange
Right.
story.
Yeah. I just had a thing pop up on our website here saying it must have known your future. It can know futures of folks, the future of their past and future with questions. So that was a direct question you asked that board, correctly?
Yes, yes, Glenn. Who will I marry?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's Steve.
That is that. Yeah. Huh. And that's Steve in the background. That's her husband. Yeah. Is he? Yeah. It's how's your weather over there?
Hey, how you doing, Steve says hello.
Hello there, Steve. Yeah. How's your weather, Barbara?
Glenn says hello. Hey, go nice, go.
I didn't get that. I'm sorry. He's yelling in the background like he always does.
He says, "Go Knights, go." We're going to be going to the game coming up. You know, the Golden Knights.
Okay, yeah. All right, great. Hockey. Okay, great. Good. That's going to be fun for you. Tell you for sure. Yeah, we went off and came right back on again. Must have been a glitch. Must have been something to that Ouija board doing something. I don't know. it's all
you know, like I said, my brother, he's a pastor in Texas,
mm-hmm.
and he forbids this use. We forbid it too for our kids.
Right.
But I'm going to be honest. I did. Trevor, my son Trevor,
mm-hmm.
we did see a Ouija board in his room.
Oh, no. You got to get that out.
And we told him to throw it out.
Good.
And he did throw it out,
mm-hmm.
Glenn.
Good.
But it did show back up.
It showed back up?
Back in the room. I mean, I don't know.
Now, I've heard this.
I don't know. Did he go grab it? I mean, I thought that the trash went out. We threw it in the trash, and the dumpster.
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
The can.
Right.
And you take the can to the curb. Have you seen this, Glenn?
Mm-hmm. I have.
And then they come and they
pick it up and it goes.
They put it in the truck.
Right. Yes, that's
the dump truck. The trash people.
That's how it works. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and then but the Ouija board was back, so we.
And I've heard of this happening.
So we didn't know what to do. Yeah, we burned it.
Well, that's a good thing too. But I don't know if you burned it when it was open or closed, or I don't know how that works. It's very scary.
Involved. It was Steve. Steve. They took it to the backyard. Mm-hmm. We have a pit. Your fire pit.
Yeah, I have one too.
We burned that
sucker. Yeah, I bet he did. Okay, I have a fire pit also. Yeah, they're nice when it's when it's chilly out. It's nice to be.
Steve and the boys, they burned it.
Good.
Yeah, we did marshmallows on it.
Marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah. Okay. Well, Barbara, thank you so very much for that story, and I'm glad that you're okay.
I was just listening. Glenn, I do want to say that I don't. Sometimes I call because I'm in the mood to call, Glenn.
Well, good.
But I do listen to you, and sometimes I'm listening,
nice,
and I don't call.
No, I understand.
Because maybe I'm just not in the mood, or I'm just listening.
When you're listening.
But tonight, the Ouija board business.
Good.
I did want to call because I did have some experience with that, and sometimes I don't want to call because I don't want to interrupt because I don't have anything to say relevant to the show. Glenn.
Right.
Hello?
I get it. I understand. Yeah. Are you still there, Barbara?
Yeah, I'm here. Glenn.
Okay, yeah. Oh, all this Ouija board stuff. I don't know if it's affecting us here at the station or not, but you never know. Yeah. Well, we always love it when you call, by the way, and we really enjoy that when you do call. And how's your UFO?
We love your show, and we listen to it on the. We watch it on the YouTube.
Okay, good. Yeah, great. Yeah, we're working on.
Put it on the TV. We have a big TV in our den, and we watch it on the TV, and it's very good quality. You have nice cameras.
Right. Thank you.
And it's good to see you on the big screen, Glenn.
Good. Well, I'll have to look at that. I've never seen it on the big screen before.
Yeah, we watch it on the big screen.
It's nice.
And and sometimes we'll watch and sometimes we'll call. Of course, Steve, he always wants me to call. Yeah, you should call every time.
Yeah. Okay. Tell him.
He says I should call every time, and I don't know. I get embarrassed.
Call
Glenn.
when you have something to talk about. Call anytime. We ask everybody to call, and sometimes people don't want to talk on the radio.
That's very nice of you, Glenn.
But again, thank you, Barbara. Be well, and we'll hear from you soon again. We hope.
Okay. You have a good night.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Steve.
Good night too.
Yeah. Okay. God bless you guys. Be well. Thanks so much.
God bless. And God bless America.
Yes, Barbara. You betcha. Barbara. She was on. That's our Barbara. Yeah. Gosh. Always fun to talk to her. She has a little group that get together and they have a little wine party and they talk about UFOs and they watch the sky and a bunch of other things. She's always involved in something. You'll see her on her website. It's an academy or something where I guess she's the president of something, some other things. But yeah, she does a lot for a lot of people too. But interesting lady, I'll tell you for sure. She's got some pretty good stuff. You've heard her in the past. I'm sure you know what she's all about. We got another caller calling in, and this is 1114. You're open. Go ahead. Hello.
Yeah, Larry.
Hey, good. You got through. You got through 1114.
Turn that off with the.
I'm glad that you got through, Ken, all the way from Florida.
I got through. Well, you're talking about the Ouija board.
Yes. Tell me, what is your experience?
Well, I had 6 kids, and they had one.
Oh.
And they played with it for a while, and then my wife said one day, they're talking strange stuff. Get rid of that board.
Smart, D.
I burn it.
You burnt it. Okay, good.
I never got to, hear a whole lot of stuff about what they were talking about. I burned the board.
Good for you.
They do burn.
They do burn. Okay.
I don't know who bought it for them, whether my mother bought it for them or what, but it didn't last long. D, so get rid of that thing.
Well, that was very, very smart.
And I burn it.
Yeah, I know a lot of kids that got involved in that and had just terrible things happen to them.
But I heard Barbara call in there and tell her story, and I figured I'd tell my story, but it ain't much of a story. I got rid of it.
Well, at least you did the right thing, and I think parents should do that, what they find the kids with that.
And it was like that old one that you first showed,
yeah.
because this was back in
if I get it up here,
I would say the 80s, early 80s.
Right.
I burnt.
You burnt that baby.
Yes, I did.
Good for you, Ken. I think
wife
this
didn't like it, and Dee, she didn't like it, so it had to go. And
it's the old. It's the one I have up now. It's the old one, just the plain with letters and numbers and yes and no.
That's what it was.
Okay, yeah. Now this other one here that they have, it sells now today. It's the newer one, I guess, version of it.
I don't know what the newer version looks like because I got rid of the old version. I didn't want a newer version.
I have seen these boards look differently too, and a different design, but it's the same concept of the Ouija. What it's called a speaking spiritual board, and they come in all different shapes now. From the past, I've seen the really old ones, and of course, I don't have anything to do with them. But it's interesting that they're out there, and I can see them how they progress through the years, as what they are today. Of course, since 1901, the guy changed the name, and it's supposed to mean lucky, good luck or lucky. Well, that guy wasn't very lucky that was manufacturing. He got killed. So
now, I got one more thing to say for everybody to hear. Don't come to Florida right now.
Yeah,
this smoke is vicious.
And it's coming from Canada, correct?
It's coming from Canada. And I live in the middle of the state of Florida in Deep Creek. And that smoke was so thick last night when we were on our way home from the restaurant. I said, what the hell? I can't see what I'm doing.
Oh, it's terrible.
I didn't know it was smoke.
Wow.
They didn't tell us it was coming here or anything else. I don't know where it come from, but it was here all day.
I imagine if that came through the jet stream or somehow ended up down there. That's weird.
I don't know. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that's about 1,700 miles from here.
Yeah.
So it's 1,150 miles for me to get to Pennsylvania, and it's 400 or 500 miles above that.
There was some strange stuff on the internet about your area coming from the ocean. I don't know what it was, but I looked at it. I wanted to read it, but I had to get in the station and get on the air. Strange things are happening with our weather, and imagine smoke coming down from Canada to Florida.
There are a lot of strange things happening, but
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I'm going to let you go. You can get another caller in there,
all right,
Larry. You
Ken,
have a good one. And
I want to thank you, and Dee. Thank you very much for everything. You
I
guys
hope
are great.
Randy's on tonight. He can hear it.
I hope so, too. You be well, my friend. Bye-bye.
Okay, have a good one, Larry.
Yes, sir. He came through on 1114. Interesting. Let's see, we got him 3. No, 3's not working. So 1114 seems to be working. And we're going to give that number out. We got a few more minutes for maybe one more call if it comes through, which is fine. So we'll give this number out.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Now, here again, Glenn Larry.
Yes, thank you. We were talking about Ouija boards, your experiences, and the people have had some. A lot of folks have gotten rid of them, burnt them, and he says they will burn. I've heard some that do not burn for some reason. That's kind of crazy. But he says they do burn, and I understand that Barbara's husband burnt his with the boys out there in the pit, like fire pit, and he roasted, marshmallows on top of it. That was kind of interesting. Go out with a party, I guess. But and I got rid of my daughters, or the one that we had back in Santa Barbara. I mean, several years ago, 30-something years ago, whatever it was. And I destroyed it. I think I buried it somewhere far away. I never saw it again. It didn't show up. But I've heard these things will come back and just show up in your house again. Well, I just threw it out, Yeah, I think that's, once it's been used, maybe it's something going on there spiritually and weird. And I do believe that they're wrong to have. I don't support them whatsoever. Yeah, Ouija boards. They know what you're doing. Tell you for sure. Hey, there's a guy on the internet. I watch him all the time. Anthony Schmidt, I think his name is, photography. Now, Anthony has a talent. He's really into old cars, old casting cars, like little toy cars. I have a Cadillac you'll see in front of our station here sometime, but it's of a miniature size of a Cadillac. And look, they're just so real looking. They're unbelievable. But what he does with these cars and these photographs are unbelievable and incredible and fantastic. He's got a little book out, and I don't know if he knows that I'm doing this, but I'm going to buy one. But yeah, I understand it's just great. I've seen some reviews, and he really has an eye and a talent. It's going to take you back into time with these vehicles and settings and everything else, natural settings and all sorts of stuff. But, the thing is, they're just a little car. But, what a mind, what an eye. Yeah. You remember his name is Anthony Schmidt, I believe, of photography. And you can see him on the internet. Yeah. Model cars, unbelievable. Okay, it's now the top of the hour, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We do love you, and I hope to have you guys back on next week. We're going to talk about some strange stuff also, but again, do call in, play happy, play well, and be well, and think good thoughts. Okay, we'll see you next time. Same channel, same time, of course. Hopefully our phone lines will be up. I've been giving them heck, trust me. Yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday night. Bye-bye.